Yes, welcome. Welcome back to the Football Terrace. Hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the retweet button on Twitter. Make sure you're subscribing right now to the Football Terrace. The Jadon Sancho deal is very close to completion. The deal is agreed. The fees are agreed. The personal terms have been agreed. What is now happening is the legal teams from multiple parties. This includes Man United, Dortmund, Jadon Sancho, and of course the various commercial elements that attach themselves to each of those clubs. We'll delve into that in a little bit more detail. What is happening right now is legal teams across all those parties are reviewing the various clauses, the various commercial clauses and elements relating to Jadon Sancho. Of course, one of the biggest ones will be Nike and Adidas going up against each other as player and club representatives. There'll be commercial elements that Dortmund are going to have to remove. Sancho himself has his own personal sponsors that will be a conflict of interest against Man United sponsors that cover the same brand and same industry. So fast food sponsors, watch sponsors, trainers, hats, etc. All of that is now being reviewed by the legal teams. This is as close as it can be without being confirmed and completed by both football clubs. But Jadon Sancho is going to be a Manchester United player. We're going to go through the financials of the deal in just a few moments' time. Remember to hit that like button for us right about now and share this on your social media platforms. But it is done. Jadon Sancho will be earning £250,000 a week at Man United. That is his base salary. If you see 300, 350s, I've seen £500,000 a week quoted. Absolutely not. Base salary is £250,000 per week. Man United will pay a maximum of 120 million euros. 100 million euros will be paid in 3 installments over the course of the opening 5 years of his contract. It will be a 5-year deal that he signs, and the remaining 20 million euros will be paid in add-ons. These add-ons are going to be very, I say, difficult to achieve. Dortmund clearly believe in them, but it's for Man United to win the Premier League and Champions League and for Jadon Sancho to win the Ballon d'Or in the opening 5 years. Then and only then will they receive the full 20 million euros extra. So in the initial sense, what he is costing Man United up front as a guarantee is going to be in the £90 million mark. That is the exact sum that the majority of us here at the Football Terrace predicted would be the happy medium. Remember a few weeks ago, it was £120 million, £130 million. Some outlets are saying United didn't want to pay above 50 or 60. It was always going to be this meet in the middle, and it has been arranged. Man United will pay up to 108 to 109 million pound, depending upon the exchange rate in total, if Premier Leagues, Champions Leagues, and Ballon d'Ors are achieved. I still think the total amount of 108 to 109 million pound is a snip for the best English British teenager since Wayne Rooney to emerge. Maybe Mason Greenwood's got a higher ceiling than him, so maybe in a couple of years we'll be saying that's Mason, but I don't care because it looks like they're both going to be at Manchester United. I want your views. I want your opinions. The Skype lines are open. You can give us a call right now. But as I said before, and I say it again, Jadon Sancho will be a Manchester United player. 120 million euros is the maximum that we paid. It is a 5-year contract on £250,000 a week. The lawyers from multiple parties are reviewing the deal as it stands right now, and I am so excited. Niaz Ahmed, thank you very much for becoming an official member of the Football Terrace. I really do appreciate that a lot. We're going to delve into some of your live chats in a few moments. 145,000, by the way, new subscribers we've achieved. Keep hitting that like and share. But we're going to jump into our first call, which is with Shrey. Shrey, what you saying, bro?
Yeah, Terry. I mean, other than the signing, there are loads of positives. To be honest with you, I thought, as we always do, I thought we were gonna drag the deal on like till the end of August, and I would doubt any United fan that would have thought that the deal was gonna happen quickly. I bet you would have thought too that the deal's gonna drag out because that's what we do. But the thing is, there are loads of positives. I think our club is showing ambition. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but the club is showing ambition. I think the deal has escalated really quickly, I think, in the past 2 days, as we all know. But I think I'm really happy right now. I'm lost for words.
Yeah, listen, I'm over the moon. It's a brilliant piece of business. It's a wonderful deal. It will be the knock-on effect though for the rest of Europe. A few people are asking why Kai Havertz and Chelsea's deal was slowed down. There's nothing kind of dramatic in relation to that. The biggest reason that slowed down is because Bayer Leverkusen want him to play in the Europa League. The reason that United have been able to get this done quickly since it's been about 3 weeks they've been talking to Dortmund. But we've got to remember, this is an 18-month deal in the making. Man United have been talking to Sancho, trying to convince him to want to come to Man United since March 2019. So none of these deals are genuinely quick from their inception to completion. But of course, since Man United sat down with Dortmund, we've come to a very quick resolution. What has helped Man United, though, is a few simple factors that are worth pointing out, which we spoke about on the Football Terrace. It's logic when you look at how transfers worked. Nobody else is in for him because he's told everybody else that he wants to join Manchester United. So there's no bidding war. That one area makes it smarter. Secondly, he's got 2 years left on his contract, meaning if they don't sell him this summer and he goes into next summer, they're not going to get as much money again on top of that. They probably would have got 120 to 130 million pound pre CV19. That's no longer the case. It's a great deal for them. It's an excellent deal for Manchester United. And, just to put it into context, Wayne Rooney in today's money, in today's climate, if you look at the inflation within the ecosystem of football, would have cost 120 to 130 million pounds. So 90 million pounds is a guaranteed amount we have to pay, maybe rising to 108 million for one of the best and most talented teenagers since. For me, it's a brilliant piece of business. Mate, I appreciate you coming on. We're going to jump onto some more calls as well. Phone in now. The Skype details are inside our description below, so please give us a call. Lucy Galbraith here says, Sancho, baby. Absolutely right. We're going to delve into a call with Samuel now. Samuel, welcome back to the Football Terrace. Who do you support and what do you want to say?
Arsenal.
I know, you're
from the FA Cup final.
Yeah, you're a gooner. I thought so. I didn't want to assume. United pretty much got Jadon Sancho over the line. What you saying?
You know what? I think you could change the title. I think I'll finish above City next season, if I'm being honest. It's a big statement. But I think one important thing, in my opinion, is that Dean Henderson should start over David De Gea next season. I think he should not be loaned out. And I think maybe you could possibly buy any left back as well.
Maybe. I think maybe you're right in terms. I think a lot of Man United fans would say left back. The goalkeeper situation is a really interesting one. I would like Henderson to be given an opportunity or some opportunities next year, because whatever people think of David De Gea, he's certainly coming towards the end of his time at Man United. That's how it certainly feels to me. But I think for us to challenge for a title genuinely, Pogba staying is important. It looks like that's going to happen. We then need the reinforcements, and whether it's Van der Beek, Grealish, whether it's Gabriel or Koulibaly, whatever it may be, Man United need to go out and they need to get 2 or 3 more players on top of this, remove the remainder of the deadwood. So we've seen Sanchez is going to go. We need to get rid of Smalling. Jones has got to leave. We've got to do all these things, and maybe, just maybe, there's an outside chance of a title push. What I would expect next year would be solidly finishing in the top 4. There's no fight for it. It should be a foregone conclusion after this signing. We should go deeper and look competitive in all the big competitions next year. And our form that we demonstrated from January to the end of the season, that then for me is the type of form that I want to see for 95% of the season. That then for me would represent, and that of course means more clean sheets. It means more goals. It means more points, everything else. That then would set us up for a good summer in 2021. And then we go on to actually demanding from Ollie and the boys, we go out there and we title charge. Because if we sign the players we want, there is no longer, from an attacking point of view, when Sancho comes in, if we don't beat teams, it's because we let up. If we don't beat teams, it's because we weren't right on the day. We have no excuse of personnel in terms of the quality they possess. Our front 4 will be the best front 4 in the Premier League. There's no doubt about it. And we've got age on our side.
The thing is about William, I'm for the transfer if it's rotation, but if it's for first team, then it's like 1 step forward and 2 steps back again. Because I think really we want to get rid of Deadwood and we're bringing in Deadwood, in my opinion. So I I don't understand the transfer. And was it Kia Jobashan? He's got his finger right up Arsenal's arse right now.
Look, I don't necessarily think the Willian deal is a bad one. We spoke about that a little bit earlier on today. I think it might represent more so that Aubameyang's on his way out and you want a bit of experience in there. But 3 years I've heard you're offering him, which is a very long time for a player of his age, but we'll see. Samuel, thanks for coming on, mate. We'll chat to you again soon. Take care. Next caller. Hello, welcome to the Football Terrace. What's your name? What's your name? Okay, didn't answer. We've got Maz M on next. Maz M, welcome to the Football Terrace. Who do you support, mate? Welcome to the Football Terrace. Who do you support, mate?
I support Man United.
Can you do me a favor and turn your device down in the background? Oh, that's done. You've done that. You've done that. Thank you, Maz. Yeah, you're a Man United fan. What do you make of the Jadon Sancho news that's broken this afternoon?
I absolutely love it. I've been watching our club just die ever since we signed in Moyes. I don't know why that happened, but since we've actually gotten Moyes out, everything, I think Ollie coming in is one of the best things that's ever happened to the club since Ferguson left. And ideally, if we're actually going to sign Sancho, hopefully also get ideally if we're actually going to left back some more defenders, because we need to actually challenge instead of just, we're going to just finish third and be happy. No, we need to actually try to win the league in the next few years or something like that.
Yeah, I agree with you there, mate. I think that's a real important element of this, is that it's the building blocks, and Man United fans have got to remain strong because, you know, for about 18 months now, there's video footage out there. Obviously, we're going to release a video once Man United formally announced the transfer. We're going to release the video, but there's video footage out there of fans from all clubs across the country, you know, when they've come across Sancho at events or gigs or whatever, like begging him to join their club, come save their club. He will now get called overrated by the vast majority of rival fans, and it's actually expected. I expect them to do that because that's part of football, to banter us and try and put him down. Every time Sancho plays and he doesn't score or get an assist, they're going to be on his neck like you've never seen before. Man United fans need to be strong. Man United, a bit like with Chelsea. Every time Werner doesn't score, Liverpool fans are going to be straight on that. And you as football fans, we as football fans just need to be strong enough to say, I'm not going to react. I understand that even if he drops 15% of his goal contribution ratio that he's done in the Bundesliga and comes in at like 70% of games he's doing it in, that is beyond elite. That's amazing for a 20-year-old. So I feel like I'm over the moon with the deal. But at the same time, the fear factor is that we know what a lot of these weak Man United fans are like. We know how they get. We know how they react. We know how they will always look for the negative. If he doesn't score a hat-trick on his debut and has got 10, 15 goals by Christmas, you know there'll be some that'll be like, oh, he's wasting money. But for me, it's the most amazing signing. It's great building for the future. It puts us in a very commanding position moving forward. We've been joined now by Prime. Prime, obviously being a Chelsea fan. A lot of Chelsea supporters thought they were going to land him. Man United have pretty much got it over the line. Before we do that, Bryce with the super chat says, any update on Gabriel? Absolutely none at the moment in relation to that, mate. But Prime, what's your thoughts on this deal pretty much being done over the line, all being reviewed now by legal teams?
Yeah, good signing for Man United, something that's needed on that right-hand side for years. Yeah, it's taking a while to get it done, and maybe some of the United fans have been anxious because of it, but I don't see that being a bad thing, because for signings like this are going to take time. You can't really do a signing overnight for someone as talented and as I guess world class as Jadon Sancho.
Of course, and I went into it briefly. I was chatting to KJ earlier. We were just talking on the phone, and I was explaining how these deals are very intricate. So when Man United signed Jose Mourinho, he'd been away from Chelsea for 7-8 months, as an example. But there was something that just one element of the illegalities that slowed the deal being announced by one whole day, was the fact that Chelsea Football Club essentially had to go to anywhere that sold Chelsea merchandise that they had control of. Kyra. Wow. Kyra. What is that?
Sorry about that.
I didn't know what that was for a minute. That's cool, Cam. It's cool, Cam. And essentially, Chelsea had to go out and make sure every bit of merchandise that showed the face or name of Jose Mourinho was removed, because Man United then owned the image rights to the player, and they no longer wanted Chelsea to be able to earn money from it, and they had a legal stance and it had to be done. So that is what's going to slow this deal down now. So we could see an announcement tonight. We might, sometimes you get one of those kind of fees have been agreed between. Look at the Valencia deal, and Valencia, nowhere near is Torres at Valencia as big and as potent as Sancho. He doesn't have the endorsements. The fees were agreed on that nearly a week ago, but still nothing's been formalized because it can take that long for the legal teams of multiple entities to review things. You've got to think, if Sancho has a hat sponsor and so do Man United, I'm not sure if we do, but we might have a sponsor that covers hats. They're going to want to, I know he's sponsored by Nando's. How does that clash with Man United's fast food sponsors?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Do you know about Sancho's sponsorship? Are there any that conflict with United? Well,
there will be. I think Man United are Adidas, and he's sponsored by Nike, I believe. I could be wrong on that. That's always going to be that's always going to be a conflict. However, it's and I don't know how this is worded because I'm not a lawyer, but the way it will work is that Man United will be contracted by Adidas for even their contracted to other merchandise players. So Rashford might be a Nike player. I don't know if he is or not. I don't really focus on it, but Man United are allowed to have those players advertise a certain amount of kits and hats and boots, etc. But they have to be United branded as an example, but there'll be a limit to it. That is what will be getting discussed. You might find that Nike go, actually, you're putting too much down for Sancho to do, and that conflicts with us. Man United might say we're not yielding, and then it becomes a discussion between Nike and Sancho. Sancho might get less money from Nike now because he's doing more advertising for somebody else. There's hundreds of variations of what can go on there. These are the elements that will now, these are almost out of the control of Ed Woodward and Sancho, etc. This now goes down to lawyers doing these conversations, because none of these guys are legally trained. So they're just going to have to listen to what the lawyers suggest. And if you've ever had any kind of civil or business or commercial legal dispute, these things are painful because lawyers like to earn their money now. This is why lawyers are rich, because of scenarios like this. You could have 10 different lawyers read the same clause and interpret it a different way. But it all could be done very, very quickly if things have been lined up and ducks are in a row. But essentially, that is now what's going to slow things down in relation to that. Cam, I'd love to get your views and opinions on this, mate. Before we do that, everyone who's tuning in, hit the like button right now. Let's get this to over 2,000 likes. Jadon Sancho to Man United. Fee agreed. Term agreed. Personal terms agreed. Add-ons agreed. Legalities have been drawn up, being reviewed now by legal teams. The announcement is imminent. Cameron, Sancho's going to be a United player. What are you thinking, pal?
Oh, I'm feeling great. I remember we started quarantine, then you asked me the question, if we had one player to sign, who would it be? And it was always Sancho. To the point where this man's won me a couple bets. I had some Chelsea fans who were at the start of this in February saying we're not going to sign anyone. And I'm like, I'll do you one better. We'll sign Sancho. And I won a couple bucks off of my friends, so I'm feeling real good about it. I think the most important thing it shows is a statement of intent. Realistically, it just shows that Man United are back at this point. There's no more oh, maybe if you can bring in a Sancho, which the whole world said we weren't going to be able to do because we're falling from grace or whatever they wanted to say. It's well, look now. I remember everybody was saying he's a Chelsea fan growing up. He worships Frank Lampard. He's going to Chelsea, and it's we'll see. So I think this just shows exactly where our stature remains and where we're going to be going moving forward. It's another emphasis on the power of the badge, realistically, and that's what I'm looking forward to now, because this is, like you said, it's the first domino in the transfer market. Once you have Havertz go to, then we'll start seeing some other things that we're linked with everybody, so who knows what's true, but we'll start seeing what's actually true and what's out there. And players are also going to see, oh wait, Sancho's going to United. You look at our front four, like you said, best front four in the Premier League right now. If you just take the numbers and put it across that front four, it's going to be easily the best front four. So if you're a player, especially if you're a midfielder, if you're a defensive, anybody, you're looking at that front four and you're like, why wouldn't I want to go play there? And it's Man United, so that's how.
I think so. I think the element of this, which is frustrating, is we've kind of got ourselves into a situation where fans, how do I put, I want to say this in the right way. Fans take banter so far, it's almost become a delusion in the sense of, right? In the sense of United can't sign about Champions League. Yes, we can. Like Fabrizio Romano, I think Jan, I can't pronounce his surname. These high-level journalists that have known what's going on. In any of them early reports, never suggested Champions League football was a main catalyst. Now we've got it, and it's RB. He's a Chelsea fan. It's like, are you deliberately ignoring the power that Man United have? Are you deliberately ignoring that we've signed multiple players in the past without Champions League football? And in doing that, you've convinced thousands of other fans that support the same club as you that what you're saying is true. And that is then, do you get me? And it's like, and now there's like uber disappointment. Oh my God, he's going Man United. I never thought that was possible. Well, why didn't you think it was possible? Because some dude that you've never met who's got a parody account got 10,000 retweets for saying it wouldn't happen. Do you get where I'm coming from? And I think sometimes fans have got, for me, I've not deluded myself once. If Liverpool came in now with £100 million bid for Jadon Sancho and wanted him, I'd be worried. I truly would be. As much as I think we've almost got it done, I would panic. I would panic so much if that happened right now.
I think what helped us a lot too, it seems like Sancho has that, he wants to be a star. He has that kind of, if you look at his Instagram, you look at him in Dave's video location and the people he hangs out with, it seems like he wants to be in the limelight. And as much as Liverpool is who they are right now, it's like, and I would be worried because they're the better team, but I think United gives him a platform to take off. Like look at the global stars we've produced throughout the years. Like he has a potential to be that next man. Like you look at what's happening with Rashford, you look what's happened already with Pogba. Like Sancho has the chance now to put himself on a stage that's bigger than anything in the world. So I think that's kind of what also really
exactly. And people have got to respect a bit more about. Do you know what's mad? And I'm not having a go at this young man right now, but have you seen the news about Angel Gomez?
Yep.
So he's gone to Lille, but they've loaned him out to Boa Vista in Portugal. Now,
wait, what? I didn't know that.
So I'm not having a pop at him. I think he's a talented boy. But we had all these Man United fans who were telling us he's the next big thing. How dare we let him go? Why is nobody coming for him? Like nobody. Look, Lille, by the way, might develop him very well. Maybe that's the level he wants to go and play at to get game time. But that's the point. Barcelona might have looked at him. Chelsea might have all these teams might have looked at him, but it would have been the same scenario as Man United. You are going to be big backup to everybody else. And I never meant this with any kind of trying to be nasty about the kid, but it was just like, he just isn't as good as what we have in front of him. And people get blinded by, he does some good step overs though. It's like, yeah, but that isn't football. That's why. How many times did you guys see? I don't know if it's the same in Canada, Cameron, and Maz, where you are, but I know certainly when I went to school, a lot of the kids who were the best with the skills and tricks weren't the best in games. And I think that's the element that sometimes get overlooked a little bit in relation to that. And, trust in what Ollie's doing. And Ollie has pulling power as well, If Bruno has come here, Pogba looks like he's going to re-sign, and now Sancho. The next time you hear a joke about, but it's Ollie though, who wants to play for him? These people look crazy. One sec before we go on, gentlemen, we have Hayden, who's just become an official member of the channel. Thank you. And Franklin with a super chat says, you can't just sit on your laurels. There needs to be improvement in other areas, ideally defense, but take a bow. Great signing. I'm not hating. Franklin, you're right. And I wouldn't relax on that either. Maz, I want to come to you as a United fan. What next? Once this deal is formally announced and everything is ironed out and done, what's next in your opinion for Man United? What's the position that you want to see him fill?
Central midfield. Can you hear me?
Yeah, mate.
Oh, okay. Because my thing wasn't filming yet. I want central midfield. Ideally, I'd want like Grealish or Van der Beek. I think in CDM we actually have decent in Matic, McTominay, and Fred. I don't know why I haven't been playing Fred recently, but hopefully he actually plays Fred more next season. Ideally, we get like a central attacking midfielder.
Yeah, I mean, the Fred situation is an interesting one. I look at it this way. If we announce today we're selling Fred, but it means we're bringing in Thomas Partey or Ndidi, nobody would care. If you get where I'm coming, I don't think so. I think everybody would just go, oh, okay, cool, that makes sense. that's it. So I think
we should be the next move.
Yeah, but I look at those moves. I gave the example earlier about Liverpool's transfers. Liverpool right now, say you're having a big party on a Saturday, friends, family, kids coming around. You know, the main stuff you want to get, you want to make sure there's enough seats for everybody, and then you want to make sure there's enough food for everybody and enough drink for everybody. That's your bread and butter. And United need to get the food, drink, and seating for everybody. Then once we've got that sorted, and I think that's a Gabriel type signing and Sancho landed, then we start moving on to what were the nice little to haves. Oh, you know what we could do? Get some nice little decorations to go around this area. Oh, maybe we could get this, and maybe we can get that, and maybe we can get some candles to burn to keep the bugs away. Whatever it may be, you buy all the little things that just make the day a little bit nicer, but they're not the essential bits. You know, if you don't have them, your world isn't going to come to an end. That's where hopefully Man United can move on to either towards the end of this window or after this window, which I think is important. Prime, from your point of view as a rival of Man United, where do you see the hole still in this team after Sancho comes in? And also, how highly do you rate our main attacking 4 players?
Well, what holes you need to fix? You need a CDM, because as good as Matic is, he's near the end of his career. I think I rate McTominay highly, but he's still let him grow and develop and learn off someone who's more experienced. And Fred, I think he's more box to box than he is a CDM. So maybe you bring in like a Party or someone like that. That might help you guys more. Maybe a left back and a centre back, and I think you guys are pretty much sorted because you have Dean Henderson. And in terms of your attack, yeah, it's because of the fact that the majority of them anyway are all gelled and they know how to play together. Obviously, Sancho to come, and we'll see how that works. But your attack looks really solid, and it's young as well. So there's still time to grow and improve.
Yeah, I understand. That makes perfect sense. I think.
And also, one thing about people saying that United and Chelsea need, Champions League football and our managers not having pulling power and everything. Well, you guys managed to wrap up. You guys seem to, even though it took long to get the deal done, it seems like you had Sancho wrapped up quite a while ago. You bought Bruno in January without being confirmed for being in the Champions League. Chelsea wrapped up Ziyech before being confirmed being in the Champions League. Same with Werner. Havertz seems to be just about over the line as well. Champions League isn't necessarily the be all and end all when you're a big club with pulling power.
Yeah, I think what's important when it comes to signing big players is that there's stability and the club is moving in the right direction and there's a good culture and a good ethos at the club. And that's why I believe last summer a Sancho deal would have been impossible. Last summer, re-signing Pogba would have been impossible. I think Bruno was still kind of up for coming. But when you're talking about players that almost have the world at their feet, it's a different kind of conversation. And I also feel with the Sancho signing, there's almost an element of perfect storm with it as well. In the sense of Chelsea had already, I think Chelsea got Ziyech because they could. I don't know.
Plus, you didn't need a lot of Chelsea fans wanted Sancho. I didn't, because as great as he is and talented, what does he add to our team? Just more creativity, which we already have. We need someone who's going to finish off our chances. Which is why I'm
I feel as though there's an element of, I think Chelsea made inquiries about Sancho, and I think that the story was that he's really set on Man United. That then puts Chelsea in a situation. Ziyech wants to join. Do we sign him? Obviously for less money, but do we sign him and just get someone in that we know is brilliant that can play that position, or do we put all our eggs into one basket, go for Sancho? Ziyech then goes and signs for Liverpool, throwing that name out there, signs for City, whoever it may be. We then don't get Sancho, and then we're left with no one. Or we have to re-sign Willian or whatever it may be. I think Chelsea have made the right. Sometimes a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush, and that's kind of how Man United seem to be doing their business recently, where we don't seem to be wasting our time chasing players that are either, one, not completely bought into playing for us, we're their number one choice, or secondly, players that we have no chance of signing. It feels like and maybe that's why, maybe I'm being a little unfair to rival fans. in the sense of maybe that's why there was a quieter period of time where they felt like these things were going to protrude and take too long because we've chased after, when we were going after Gareth Bale in 2013, Fabregas, and a lot of these players, there was just no chance of getting them. But yet we spent the summer trying to. I think the people, once bitten, twice shy, and all that jazz.
That's the delusion that fans fall into. Like, it's easy to say, "Oh, let's go sign Sancho," or "Let's go sign this player or that player." But if they don't want to go to your club, then it's a waste.
Exactly. A lot of people keep saying things. Someone said to me earlier, why don't we sign Van der Beek? And I'd love to, but does he want to come to Man United? If he doesn't want to sign for Manchester United, then what's the point of us chasing him?
And that's not a disrespect to Man United or anything. It's just like maybe he just doesn't want to go.
Maybe he wants to go to Spain, yeah. I think Chelsea did the smartest thing because realistically, I believe they were holding on to 120 mil for Sancho. It seems like if you look at all the deals they've done, it seemed like they were like, they inquired. He said, I'm probably going to go to United. And they made all their moves with that money really quickly. And now you see they're trying to build the funds for Havertz. And I saw that they're in talks for that left back from Seville, which is
regularly.
Yeah, because they decided against Chilwell because I guess Leicester's trying to hold an £80 million valuation on him.
It's someone wiring like that. Oh, goodness.
That's one of the things about Marina Granovskaya. People can say what they want about her transfer-wise,
she's a boss in the transfer.
Exactly. No one's going to be able to see her.
And that's a sensible thing. Those are the things you have to do. Ben Chilwell might be the number one choice, but you can't be exploited. However, what also might happen now that you're looking at the this lad, was he at Sevilla last year?
Yeah.
That guy.
He's from Real Madrid. He's on loan at Sevilla.
It was there. So what might now happen is if you get into serious conversations with him, and this does happen, you get a little knock on the door from Leicester who say, look, how about if we say 45 million then? We still might be above the valuation, but you think, he has a number one target. And that's what happens in a lot of these situations. And that's why you see so many links. That's why you see so many stories, so many journalists giving us information, because clubs are playing their games. And it's, you've got to do these things at times. And it's how transfers are done. It's how business is done. I've had it before happen to me when you think someone's going to go and knock on a rival's door or a competitor's door. You're like, hang on a minute, we might lose out here. And, from Leicester City's point of view, Ben Chilwell's stock is very high right now. All it takes is an average season next year, and you're not getting that money again. And it's one of those. It's a bit like with the Aubameyang thing. If Aubameyang doesn't sign a new deal, Arsenal will lose him for nothing. So it's a case of, either sign or we move you on, because we need to be able to use that money to replenish the squad. It's a bit like Genie. If Genie doesn't sign a new deal with Liverpool, they will get rid of him, and that's, according to David Lynch, who's been on the show, that is when and only when Thiago comes in. But
how old is Ronaldo?
He's got to be 26, 27. If he's a day, he's got to be 26, 27. I will go and check because I'm interested to know. I'd be shocked if he was younger than 26, 27. He's 29. He's going to turn 30 this season, actually. He's even older than I thought he was. But there we go.
Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of Liverpool's squad, well, in terms of like their main players, their 11, are aging. They don't have that many, barring Trent, I guess. They don't have that many young players in their first 11. Anyway.
Well, that's probably the element why you're getting a few Liverpool fans feeling a little bit like sketchy at the moment. It's another year with. I think they're at a perfect age, this squad still, but it's what happens in a year or so's time. You look at Man United's front four as an example here. That's got a shelf life of at least, as a collective 4 of 6 years, I would say. It's 5 or 6 years until Martial reaches Wijnaldum's age and Mane's age. Do you get what I mean, right? And Salah's age. But you then look at the other 3; they're 18, 20, and 22 respectively. You're looking at 8 years until Rashford gets to that point where he's going to be turning 30. That's a long time. It's a hell of a long time to have that group. And the great thing, what I would say again, it goes back to the Sancho situation. I was talking to KJ earlier, and he's right. He put this in my head. Greenwood and Rashford are never going to leave, all being well, if they keep getting better, because they're Manc born and bred. They love Man United, right? Sancho,
Just a question.
how likely is it that if he does well, how likely is it he's going to go to a rival or one? Like, we're going to have him for at least 5 years. There'll be at least a year extension on that. We've got 6 years of this boy, give or take, and we won't sell him to another Premier League club. We've got those guys. I think Martial will want to stay as well, but those three, especially Rashi and Greenwood, they're here. They're here for life. And that's one advantage. Even when we had like Rooney, Tevez, Ronaldo, Berbatov, you've got, with Tevez, we always knew that he was never going to be here more than 3 or 4 years. He always said, even before he joined Man United, that he likes the idea of changing regularly. Ronaldo always wanted to move. These boys, that's it. Like, for me, it's perfect. Like, Chelsea's front line you're buying is great. But people telling me that Kai Havertz is content for Chelsea forever? Maybe. Werner forever? I don't know. What Pulisic forever? I don't know. What I know about 2 of our boys is they're Man United fans. They were, so I think it's so brilliant as a collective.
What if Rashford and Greenwood, they don't want to play for Real Madrid one day?
Maybe. Look, they could do.
I think that's more Sancho. Sancho's actually came out and said that.
It could be.
I don't think
it could be. It could be. But Rashford and Sancho, highly unlikely. As long as Man United don't decline and become awful again. Yeah. Do you get what I mean? Like I said about a year ago that if Man United didn't improve, then I would advocate Rashford leaving, because I wouldn't want to see him. You know how I talk about Harry Kane leaving Tottenham because I think he'll waste his career there. I would say exactly the same thing about I would say exactly the same thing about Rashford. I would. Yeah, I just lost my train of thought then, but yeah, I would. It's funny. People keep telling me, like, somebody just retweeted something, or Fabrizio Romano just tweeted something. A lot of people would change their profiles and pretend to be these guys, and it's not him. It's a fake account that's put it out there. Sorry, go on, mate.
Yes, I know it's a pretend account. Why do you making parody accounts to try to go rile us up? That's just weird.
I never get why people don't check the forget the name that somebody has or the picture. I always look at the @ What's the @ say? Like the @ so and so. Like someone that was earlier was @ Will Dunstable was his name, but he changed his name, a title name, to Fabrizio Romano, and then put the picture in, and he got like 2,000 retweets on something. Like people literally don't check anything.
It's because people want to, and we live in a day and age where everyone wants to be right.
True. Very, very true. Elite KJ here says England's future front three. Correct. Absolutely correct.
Because I'm someone who, I don't know how many people agree with me, but I'm someone who says, like, for the Euros next year, it should be Sancho and Rashford starting out wide instead of Sterling.
It's hard because I think Sterling's brilliant. I think Sterling's top class. The great thing for England is you've got Harry Kane. Of course, there's Greenwood coming through. You've got a bit of Tammy to throw into that as well. And then you have Sterling, Rashford. No, I think he's a good backup striker. I do think he is. You've got Rashford, Sterling, and then Sancho. Isn't it amazing that we can? It's like with Man United next year. If we play 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1, as a general rule, a brilliant player misses out every game. As a general rule, which is amazing. That gives you great flexibility when it comes to rotation. It gives you great strength in depth, as an example. It really does. A couple more another new member here. Thank you, Kennedy, for signing up with the channel. Amazing. And as a HD says, Newport County making a signing at 6. Will you make a video on it? Sorry, mate. No disrespect. When they make it in the top 6, it might be as big as Arsenal in a few years, so that's a possibility. But there we go. But boys, listen, I appreciate you all coming on and having your say. We'll chat to you all again soon.
Thank you.
Take care, boys. Thank you all very, very much indeed. Listen, everyone who's tuned in, thank you very much as always. Make sure you're all hitting that like button right now. Another little important thing I need you to do is go into our description below. Use promo code TFT. You'll see it just below the Skype details. Go into the App Store or Google Play. Please download Hot Mic. They're one of our title sponsors. Really could do with your support. Download it with my promo code TFT and then come and follow. Just search the Football Terrace over there. Follow us on there. All our watch-alongs are done on there. At some point next season, our watch-alongs will be exclusive to Hot Mic. So please go and get that downloaded for us right about now. It's amazing. But until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again very, very soon.